Rock stars, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about B.B. King, the B.B. King box. B.B. King box in a nutshell, if you will. Blues licks by B.B. King. Like that sort of thing. That's what we're going to be looking at today. As I want to unravel the mystery, if you will, of the B.B. King box. It's really quite simple if I can show this to you the way that I think about it. All right? So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be unraveling this. I'm going to show you where it's at. I'm going to show you how you can find it in any key, show you some licks that you might be able to play. Don't worry about this any longer, friends. I've got the medicine for what ails you, okay? Very quickly, before we begin, friends, if you would like this video and share it. Share it in any way that you know possible. Email it to a friend. All the different ways that you can do it in all the different platforms. Hit subscribe and the notification bell if you would. Here we go, okay? Now, a lot of this stuff that I'm showing to you, a lot of the mentality and what have you, is based around what I call minimalistic blues. It's a little term that I came up with that basically just says, hey man, it doesn't have to be complicated. Just think very simply. Think very minimalistically. And in the case of blues, well, we're just doing that with blues. This is the way B.B. King thought. He thought very simply. Very simple phrases. He wasn't going crazy. But he's literally known as the king of the blues. Everybody knows this. And so what can we derive from that? What can we extrapolate is that you can say a lot by saying a little. Remember that concept, okay? Don't try to overplay. This is what players do all the time. They overplay. It's like blabbering if you meet a new gal or a new guy or whatever, and you're just like, bup, 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 instead of just saying, hey, what it is that you actually feel. That's what B.B. did. Now, if we were playing this in the key of A, okay? And I forgot to mention, that minimalistic blues that I'm talking about, I have videos for you on YouTube. Just search YourGuitarSage Minimalistic Blues. You could also search YourGuitarSage Call and Response, YourGuitarSage BB. I have other videos for you on that. If you're inside of UGS Pro, you know I have a whole section on learning the blues, blues rhythms, blues leads, the BB box, how to use these outside notes, the major notes within the minor type of sound, all sorts of stuff for you. If you're in UGS Pro, you know about this. Otherwise, you can find some stuff here on YouTube, okay? And don't forget the free course for you. First link below, YourGuitarSage.com/UGS. That will give you free access into Unstoppable Guitar System Standard. Join the revolution today, my friends. Okay, here we go. Now, if I were to, I have a little jam here just in the key of A, and if I were to noodle with this and show you where the BB box is, you're going to hear some sounds that sound a little bit like BB, right? So like... Let's talk about what's going on here, okay? Usually, the 2, the major 2, and the 6 are not used too often in blues. I mean, they can be, but usually, if you're coming from a rock background, you're thinking everything in the minor blues sound. So like this sort of sound. Right? As opposed to the major, it's more of that sound. So if we were in our standard, form 1 A minor pentatonic form, you've seen that, right? Well, if we introduce the 2, it's right here, and the 6 is right here. So it's a little bit different than what you might be used to playing, right? So that sort of sound. It doesn't sound good if we just kind of kind of noodling as opposed to... That doesn't sound too bad, but if we're using these notes in here, it doesn't sound so good just kind of running through the scale. But we can use them as color notes, and that's exactly what BB did. So now he played that formation, you know, up here. And in fact, he did this bit where he didn't go down to this note as much, but he threw this note in there, so he'd slide up like... He did that sort of sound a bit. And so they call this the BB box because you find these... So right here, frets 12, 10, 12, 10 on strings 1 and 2. And that's the BB box right there, along with this little note right here. So it's like 12, 10, 12, 12, 10 on 1, 12, 10 on 2, and then 11. And a lot of times, come up with that sound. And that's all major because this is a major 6, here's the 1, here's the 2, and I even bent up to the major 3. Right, that's the major 3. So I've got that sound. As opposed to minor. So that's the difference there, is that BB, instead of playing these 2 notes, now he did play those 2 notes, but then he'd also bring in these 2 notes. So that was available to him. And unless you're thinking about that, those are the 2 notes that make it major, that bring that new kind of spice into what it is that we're trying to do. And when you combine the 2, usually not necessarily at the same time, but if you combine the 2, you can create some different sounds. So here we go, using some major sounds. Here's minor. And there, threw a major note in there. But again, you could see, as long as we're resolving it to the 1, that's the A. So all these licks, by the way, would work in any one of those places where I've got that 1, you know? You know? Any place you find an A, it works. So you're just not learning this one spot. You could do it anywhere on the neck. Pretty cool. In fact, I have a video on YouTube that's something like multiply your licks times 6x. Do a search on that. YourGuitarSage, multiply your licks by 6x. I think you will find that video, and it talks about adjacent string technology. It's basically adjacent string theory, no pun intended, and it will talk about how if you can play a lick on strings 1 and 2, how you can find it on strings 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 very easily. Okay, so multiplying all your licks and then multiply that times 2 times your octaves. Now you're multiplying every lick that you're doing by 6, the very minimum. Okay, pretty cool stuff. So again, this is our tonic, so we want to come back to it a lot, right? You know? Now, if that's your 1 and this is your 2, here's your 6, here's your minor note. So this is the one that you'll hear, you know, Page and all the classic blues players play that one a lot. That's very, very Pagey right there. Then you have access to both. You've got the majors, you've got the minors. Now, here's what to do. Here's how I want you to practice this, okay? If you're in UGS Pro, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the jam section, the jam tracks that I have for you. That's in the resources section on the far right. If you're in there already, you know what to do. Go to the resources section, drill down to jam tracks. I've got 600 something jam tracks there for you in all the different keys, so you can use this in any key. This is A, what we're doing. And by the way, this is going to work best for those that have the major blues chord progression as opposed to minor blues. Instead of this sound, instead of that sound, that sad minor sound, it's major blues, okay? It's gonna work best for this. So find some jam tracks. If you're in UGS Pro, you have to have 600-ish today, more coming for you. Otherwise, on YouTube, just search jam tracks. Make sure that you're in the right key. In the case of A, you're going to make sure that your first finger is that tonic, and then it's all right there available for you. Now, how do you get good at this? In the same way that you get good at anything, my friends, it's literally just chipping away at the stone, playing, going for things. It's not going to sound good at first. It didn't for BB, it didn't for Jimmy, it didn't for me, it won't for you. It doesn't for anybody. You have to do this stuff. You have to whittle. You have to noodle until you go, oh, that one worked. Oh, that one didn't work. I won't do that again. Oh, but that one did work. I'm going to do that again. You do that enough times, you start building a vocabulary. By the way, this is how you learned how to speak. It's how I learned how to speak too. We'd say the word. We heard our mom and dad say it. We said it wrong, they said it again, we repeated it until we got it right, and look at us. Now we're talking, we're doing YouTube videos, we're big boys and girls, right? It's literally that easy. But you do have to practice this. Nobody gets to it by not practicing it. No lesson is gonna help you unless you apply what it is, this stuff that I showed you today. So find some jam tracks on YouTube or wherever. Obviously, if you're in Pro, you've got them available to you. Preferably blues. I've got jam tracks here on YouTube as well. Search YourGuitarSage jam tracks. I'll help you out with that. Friends, I'm here to help you. I love you. Now, you know we're doing this new format, and no, I'm not taking your questions in real time. I'm sorry, because what we're trying to do is present the most value we possibly can for you, and in order for us to do that, we got to cut out something in order for me to be in front of you more, giving you just the stuff you need. So, you know there's many, many different ways to get in touch with me. I'm sorry I can't take the comments right now. I love you, though. Many places that I can take those comments, though, on all my social, of course, comments here on YouTube, the 800 number that we have now for you, lots of different places. What's that number? I'm going to tell it to you right now. 1-833-744-0154. You can just text UGS, and then, friends, we'll be communicating together. This is the way we got to do it if I want to provide massive content for you and really help you play guitar. That's what I'm here for. Friends, as always, thank you so much. You know what to do. Like this video, share it, subscription button, notification bell. I love you. I'm out of here. See ya.